belong here." The voice was low, smooth, and unmistakably male. Isabella Everhart stiffened mid-step, fingers tightening around the stem of her champagne flute. She hadn't even turned around yet, but she already knew the words weren't meant kindly. They carried the weight of confidence, of someone used to being obeyed. Slowly, she faced him and forgot how to breathe. The man standing before her was devastating in the way storms were devastating, dark, controlled, and impossible to ignore. He wore a tailored black suit that looked like it had been made for his body alone, broad shoulders stretching the fabric just enough to hint at restrained power. His hair was dark, his jaw sharp, his eyes an unsettling shade of gray that felt far too perceptive. He was looking at her like he could see straight through the borrowed silk of her dress, straight through her. "Excuse me," Isabella said coolly. His gaze flicked to the flimsy designer clutch in her hand, to the way she held herself, poised but cautious, assessing, calculating. "This gala," he said, "is invitation only." Her lips curved into a polite smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Then it's a good thing I was invited." For the first time, something shifted in his expression. Interest, sharp and sudden. "By whom?" he asked. Isabella lifted her chin. "Does it matter?" The man's mouth twitched, almost a smile. Almost. "It usually does." She took a deliberate sip of champagne, buying herself a moment to steady her nerves. The truth was, she had no business being here. The dress clinging to her body wasn't hers. It belonged to a roommate who worked PR for one of the sponsors. Isabella was only filling in because a date had canceled last minute. A favor. Just one night. She hadn't expected chandeliers the size of cars, nor floors that gleamed like mirrors, nor men who looked at her like she was an equation to be solved. "I'm Isabella," she said finally. "And you are?" The man studied her for a long beat, as if deciding how much of himself to reveal. "Adrian Caldwell." The name landed like a dropped glass. Isabella's stomach tightened before she could stop it. That Caldwell, CEO of Caldwell Global, billionaire, media darling, and corporate executioner. The man tabloids called the Ice King of Wall Street. She masked her reaction quickly, though her pulse betrayed her. "Ah," she said lightly. "That explains the arrogance." A ripple of surprise crossed his face, quick, fleeting, but unmistakable. Most people fawned. Isabella challenged. "Careful," Adrian said. "You might offend someone important." "Someone important?" she echoed. "You mean someone rich?" His eyes darkened, something dangerous sparking there. "Is there a difference?" "Yes," she said without hesitation. "One has money. The other has character." Silence stretched between them, charged and electric. Adrian should have walked away. He was supposed to walk away. He had investors to charm, board members to reassure, a merger hanging by a thread upstairs. Instead, he found himself staring at the woman in the borrowed dress who had just insulted him to his face, and feeling something deeply unsettling unfurl in his chest. Interest, raw and immediate. "You're enjoying this," he said. Isabella shrugged. "You approached me?" "Because you were hovering near the donation board like you were casing the place." Her eyes flashed. "I was reading the charities." "And?" he pressed. "And wondering," she said, voice sharp, "how many people here actually care where their money goes, and how many just want their names engraved on a plaque." That did it. Something inside Adrian cracked, just a hairline fracture in the armor he'd spent decades forging. "You think we're all the same," he said quietly. "I think," Isabella replied, matching his tone, "that power makes it very easy to forget what desperation looks like." The word hit harder than it should have. Desperation. Before he could respond, a man in a tuxedo brushed past Isabella too closely. She stumbled, her heel catching, her balance faltering. Adrian's hand shot out on instinct, fingers closing around her wrist. The contact was immediate, electric, wrong in the most dangerous way. For a second, the world narrowed to the heat of his touch and the way her breath hitched as she steadied herself against him. Her eyes met his again, this time wide, startled, and achingly close. "Careful," he murmured, voice lower now. Her pulse thudded beneath his thumb. "I've got it," she said, though she didn't pull away right away. Neither did he. Something passed between them in that suspended moment, recognition, curiosity, and a pull neither of them was ready to name. Then Isabella stepped back, breaking the spell. "Thank you," she said stiffly. Adrian watched her like a man waking from a dream. "Who invited you?" he asked again, more softly this time. "Does it matter?" she repeated. His gaze followed her as she turned and walked away, the silk of the borrowed dress shimmering under the lights. She moved like she belonged there, head high, shoulders straight, despite the faint tension in her steps, despite the way her hand trembled when she set her empty glass down. Adrian didn't look away. He couldn't. Across the room, Isabella felt it. The weight of his stare, heavy and inescapable. She told herself it was nothing, just another rich man with too much confidence and not enough empathy. And yet, when she glanced back, their eyes locked again. This time, neither of them pretended it was accidental. The music swelled, laughter echoed, cameras flashed, and somewhere between chandeliers and champagne, something dangerous had begun.